Isabella, hey, congratulations. Gosh, you are one busy woman.
Thank you. Thank you. I am, I prioritize my sleep when I can because life gets very busy in this industry.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we're here to discuss to a lot of your projects that you actually have upcoming in pipeline, and just recently you just got off the Beverly Hills film festival. I mean, how was
Did
that
indeed.
how was that experience? How did that premiere go?
It was so much fun to see the movie on the big screen. I mean, it always is when you put so much hard work into a project and you spend hours trying to make it as good as you possibly can. Seeing it with an audience is just a very special experience. And I also had a song at the end of the movie, so hearing everyone's reactions to it was a really magical moment for me.
Yeah, we're gonna get into all the discussions, and I want to get into the main project that you actually have coming up right now, Karma, Death at Latigo, right? Am I pronouncing Latigo
Yes,
correct?
death at Latigo Springs. Don't
Latigo.
worry, everyone says Latigo, so don't worry.
All right. Now I understand this project you actually wrote. So tell us what the inspiration actually came from for this Karma movie.
So I totally, yeah, I did write it. I love creating things, no matter what that looks like, whether it's writing or acting. So this was just a really great combination for me to be able to write, produce, and star in it. The inspiration for it really came from the concept that I hadn't seen or found anything that really put karma as a person, nothing with karma personified. And so for me, I thought that's like a really interesting concept, especially because the phrase karma is always used. I thought that's personifying karma in a very real way, but yet we've not really seen that on the screen. And I did a lot of research to see if somebody had done this, and it's not been done feature length and in the way I've done it. So I really wanted to show this in a new way, something that we see as intangible as a human being in front of you. So for me, it was about trying something new and wanting to put something new on the screen, but also using that as a way to show great representation on screen and also be able to put some really talented actors in a film together.
Well, that's pretty awesome. So how do you define karma?
Well, karma as an intangible to me is what goes around comes around. And I see it so many times in life that at this point I can't not believe in it. I'm someone that believes in past lives, and I see people in this life who are the sweetest people, but deal with so much when it comes to life that I go, "Oof, you might have done something in a past life that you didn't know about that's coming back to you now," and vice versa. I see people now that I go, some I've got to trust the universe and know that something's going to help that person on their way. So for me, it's very much about what goes around comes around, and then personifying her, it was really about showing that when this girl Charley is around, the people who have done bad things get their karma straight away. And so you can see that in a couple of the scenes with the characters in Latigo Springs, where they have a history in that town and have done bad things in the past. And so when Charley shows up, it sort of triggers those karmic responses. And Charley starts to learn about maybe that she's different in a certain way, and there's a lot of cool stuff, and there's definitely setups for a sequel in there.
You wear so many hats in a lot of your projects because not only you wrote it, you also acted and produced this film also. Tell us why do you love, as if one job is not enough.
Well, I think when you're a creative in this industry, you tend to join it because you really love it. And you tend to stay in it because you love it. I don't know really many people. Yes, it's a hard world, don't get me wrong, but I don't know many people that are still in it after years that don't love it, because it's a brutal world and you really do have to be committed to it. But for me, because I love creating, doing all of the things is just another way for me to create more and make better projects because I have my hands in more pies, as it were, which I love that phrase, by the way. So it's such a great image. But I think I decided to write and star and produce in Karma because I really wanted to tell this story in a certain way. And then, especially collaborating with my mum when she directed it, we were really had a specific vision for what we wanted it to look like. And generally in film, you can trust whoever's going to get it. But the beauty for us was that because it was an inside operation, as it were, with Mother Daughter Entertainment, we were really able to put on screen what we wanted to. And that came down to locations, cast, story, color palette, style. It really was a just a translation of what was in our heads. So I think for me, being able to do all things was a way of really projecting mine and my mum's vision onto a screen.
Now, of course, I've spoken to you many times. I also spoken to your mother many times, and I know you have a long you known your mother your whole life,
I
basically.
have.
So, t- I mean, the collaborations that you do in the entertainment industry, you do it a lot with your mother, but I also noticed that there are a lot of familiar faces also in this film. Tell us about the collaborations with the people in your lives, why you love doing these kind of doing this kind of stuff, and how essentially it's a family to you.
Yes, very much so. And I think that hits the nail on the head. I think that's the reason why I work with similar people and the same people on a lot of projects, and why we work with a lot of the same people on the same projects, because those people are good people. I don't want to spend my life working with bad people. Life's too short. Yes, it feels very long when you've got a lot going on in a week, but life is very, very short. If COVID taught us anything, I think it's that 4 years can go very, very quickly without even realizing it. And for me, I want to spend my time on set and in pre-production and post-production with people that mirror positivity and light in a way that I hope and I work to do for myself. And so we work with similar people and the same people because we like those people. And I say that to people on set. They don't really believe me. I go, no, if we like you, you're kind of stuck with us, because if you're a good person, we want to keep working with you. And there's very few people who haven't traveled with us when it comes to crew and cast, because we're very fortunate to find people that are just genuinely honest and kind and just really, really good. So for us, collaborating with people that are family just makes the job that we love even more fun and joyful and joyous. I mean, the cast in there, as you said, they're familiar faces, and I haven't worked on screen with all of them before, but they're friends of mine and they're really good and kind people. So I was so excited to be able to put them onto screen and be in scenes with them and get to show their talent too, because I think they're incredible people and very talented too.
I mean, it is refreshing to bring in new faces into your projects and into your films, possible more frequent future collaborators, perhaps.
Exactly.
Now, tell us about the formation of a mother-daughter entertainment that you formed with your mother. How did that actually initially came about? Because obviously you have garnered quite some success with your mother.
Very much so. I mean, it definitely helps that we're best friends. I think people don't really believe it when I say it, but we truly are. I mean, we wouldn't work together and we wouldn't keep working together if we weren't. It's crucial for any partnership that you actually really like the other person. So I think that's just a benefit for us. But the actual production company came around. I was about 13, maybe 12. And we produced our first movie just together. We wanted to make our first movie. And after making the first one and then the second one and then the third one, we realized, hang on a second, we can do this, we can figure this out, we can make it work. We had enough experience outside of that world to kind of know how to do it, or at least know how to start. And we knew anything else that we needed to learn, we could learn along the way. So we started producing together. And then after those first few movies, we decided to put a name on what we were doing. And we thought Mother Daughter Entertainment was just kind of the perfect company title. And it sort of flourished from there. And we've been really fortunate to keep producing. And now it's not just projects that we create, but it's other people bringing us projects that we develop and work with. And I think we're creating a really beautiful community around the love of film.
So I do know your mother direct quite a lot of films. Are you going to go down that path down the road yourself?
It's a great question. Honestly, nobody's actually asked me that before, ironically. I definitely love the concept of directing. I actually directed my first project recently. It was a documentary about someone very close in my life, Terry Moore. She is the last living legend of Golden Era Hollywood. And Terry's one of our best friends. So I did a documentary about her. And so because that was very close to me, I wanted to direct it. And I have thought about directing other things. I have a short that's very close to my heart that I would love to direct and see that vision and again put really good people in it that I love. Uh, but as a path by itself, I honestly don't know. I mean, I might fall in love with it when I do the narrative short and just go, you know what, I'm adding this to my slashes on IMDb. But right now, I mean, I am very much 50-50 in love with producing and acting. People ask me if I have a preference, and I think yes, in a perfect world, I would love to be acting all day, every day. But I genuinely enjoy producing. It's a lot of fun for me being able to really make a project from beginning to end and then be able to put myself in it. So maybe directing will be added to that, but we'll see.
Well, you said you still I still want to say that you are still at the beginning of your career. I mean, you have many years to actually figure all this thing out. I mean, how does it feel being such a young person in this industry and being so, I want to say, ambitious?
I love that that's the word you use to describe me. That is a huge compliment. I take that as a huge compliment. Um, I think I think it's really hard to be in this industry and not be ambitious, if I'm being honest. I think, especially as an actor, it's really important to be pushing for what you want to achieve, whether that's making your own projects or getting other people that you know to put you in their films so that you're consistently working. But I think you really have to be if you want to succeed. Honestly, in any industry, but my experience is film, so I can talk about that more. But for me, I think I started at a young age. I was 4 when I started acting, and I fell in love with it straight away. I mean, I got to play as a job, and I got to be on set with people I loved every day, and it was a blast, and it just kept going. And I've been fortunate to really maintain that career and then discover other things that I love along the way, like producing and writing and making projects from scratch. Uh, but I think being this age definitely has ups and downs. Like you said, I have a lot of life ahead of me, even with the experience I already have behind me and tucked into my tool belt. Uh, but equally, I think there's still so much ageism in Hollywood, especially around young producers. Now, as an actress, you obviously need people of all ages. It's less odd. Yes, there's issues as you get older as a woman, but I am not there yet. But for me as a producer, and being younger, I definitely face a lot of people assuming that I don't know what I'm talking about. And I'm very open to still learning things, but I think it's really an interesting thing just to observe that there is still so much ageism in Hollywood, especially with producing and being a young woman in this industry. So for me, being ambitious is very much a way to achieve my goals and keep pushing for what I know, and really being able to succeed in what I want and not kind of just being pushed to the sidelines on a project that I have brought to fruition.
So as a young person, how do you overcome those challenges, or do you feel that you've been lucky so far?
I mean, I've definitely been fortunate, and it would be silly of me to ignore that. I have no problem acknowledging that I've got fantastic people in my life that have helped me get to where I am. And I'm not saying I've been given everything, by no means. I've worked for everything I've achieved, but having a good support system from the people around me in this industry has helped because they've helped guide me, and that is priceless. But overcoming the actual challenges has been very much about me learning about myself and really looking internally because, yes, there are other people, and it is a lot of the time their problems more than mine. But if I didn't look internally and didn't work on myself, I wouldn't be able to handle those situations. So it's about preparing myself mentally and physically to be able to deal with those situations and knowing when to stand up for myself, when to send an email, when to say it, when to talk to somebody else, and how to handle those different situations because they're always arising. I mean, I don't think a day goes by where I don't have at least one person kind of throwing a speed bump in my road and me having to go and jump over it quickly. That's just day-to-day life in Hollywood, and you live and you learn.
Well, I do have to admit because just in this film Karma alone, it is impressive because you brought in a terrific cast. I mean,
Thank
I'm
you.
throwing out names, um, Natasha Henstridge is in there, Tony Todd is in there. You even got the up and coming Terry who in
Yes.
the film, and as a young producer, that's that is quite an achievement for to bring them all into one film. I know you've known David Lipper for a while, so
I
that
have, but I think it's interesting to acknowledge that I think it's really important for me to share with people that I am not blind to how lucky and fortunate I am. Now, yes, it has come from years of hard work, but the fact that I have these incredibly talented people in my project and that want to work with me does not go unnoticed, because even when you like someone, you don't have to say yes to their project unless you think it's good. So the fact that these people like Matt Cornett, Pierce Joseph, Pedro Enrique, Nottingham Taylor, Elise Luthman, Abby Georgiana, Rich Ting, Eddie McClintock, Fernando Romero, I mean, all of these people have massive resumes behind them and they are incredibly talented. And the fact that they said yes to work on my project, I mean, I am forever grateful. I think I cried at the end of the film. In fact, I definitely cried when we wrapped, because it's such an emotional thing, when especially when you've written it and you star in it. It's literal blood, sweat and tears going into a project, and these people come together and put their trust in you, and you have to put your trust in them to make the best project. So it does not go unnoticed that these incredibly talented beings want to be in my film.
now, of course, we there a lot of the projects that I know you got involved with as of late. I mean, I don't want to say you're all boxed in because I know you're multi-talented. Done you said you've done a documentary. Yeah, I know you've done comedy and all this kind of stuff. But as of late, there's a lot of these thriller films. I mean, Karma to me seems like a thriller. Murder at Hollow Creek it's definitely a thriller. Why do you love that genre so much for yourself?
It's funny because you're totally right. I mean, from a producing standpoint, thrillers are selling fantastically at the moment. I will not deny that. I think anyone that looks at the market can kind of tell you that they have sold well, and they will, I believe, continue to sell well because there's such a great following for that genre, and there is definitely a structure that you follow and it works. It's tried and true, and so I think that's definitely a part of it from a production standpoint. As an actor, I mean, I wrote myself into karma 100%, but I think honestly, I think part of it is an accident. And I think that's just how the world works as an actor. Sometimes you do groups of one genre, sometimes it's groups of another, and sometimes you flitter in between them. And I think that's the beauty of being able to be in this industry. You really get to try so many different parts of it. And a lot of it is out of your control. And I think that's a really beautiful part of being in this world is, yes, my job is an actor, but I don't have one specific thing to do. I'm always able to try other things. And I'm very grateful for that.
What's your enjoyment of doing, independent productions like this? I know you are very well known and popular. I want to say off the Disney series. What was it? Second Born?
Secret Society of Second-Born Royals is actually this fuzzy rectangle thing here is actually the giant poster sitting in my living room. So yes, that is the one, Secret Society of Second-Born Royals.
That's right. It's such a mouthful, but that was a good series too. But you do a lot of independent films. Why do you love that? Doing that kind of stuff a lot.
I really do love it. I think part of it comes from that's where I came from. Yes, I started in kids' TV and I did a lot of TV back in the UK for the BBC, but indie film is really one of my favorite things to do because the passion that comes from the people making the projects is quite unmatched. The talent that you find just in these films that you wouldn't have even expected is the most magical experience. And I just genuinely love the projects. I mean, I know that sounds so cliche, but I really do. I mean, I started there. I have a lot of those films, like you said, under my belt. And I love working with people who also love film. Now, don't get me wrong, the huge budget films like Secret Society are so much fun to work on. And if I could do that all day, every day, I would, because doing those stunts was a blast. And being able to be in all those different locations was amazing. And I absolutely love it. But the indie film, especially as a producer, is so close to my heart because it's kind of what got me started in the feature film world. I mean, my first feature that I was a lead in was a movie with Cameron Bright called Little Glory. And that's really where I fell in love with indie film. It's such a magical story and a great group of people that really became family on set. And I was 8 when I did that. So for me, that was my childhood growing up was indie film. So I think there's a bit of nostalgia related to it as well.
So how do with so many projects, because not only you're doing your own projects, you're doing other people's projects all at the same time. How do you balance your schedule?
My mummy helps me. I'm not going to lie. She is my number one helper and supporter in life. And I think if I denied that, I would be taking way too much credit. Yes, she has taught me how to handle stuff by myself, and I absolutely can when I need to. But having her help and support really does help me get through every week because not only just having an extra set of eyes on what I'm doing, but having her emotional and physical support as well is I would not be able to get through each week without her. I can tell you that right now. But I think from a practical level, it's very much being organized. People laugh that my schedule is so to the minute, but it really has to be because, like I said, life's too short. And before you know it, I mean, I can't believe we're already in May. I mean, where did those first few months go of this year? So for me, it's very important to be organized. Leaving time for magic to happen 100%. It's not saying that you have to be actively doing stuff all day, every day, but it's knowing that when you are, what time you have and what you have to accomplish and what you need to get done. So it's the organization, but also my mummy is a very, very big help in my life.
Yeah, well, time flies when you are actually having fun.
It really does.
Now, Isabella, I know when we spoke on the red carpet at Beverly Hills Fest that the one thing that I newly discovered about you was your singing abilities because, as you mentioned before at the earlier of this conversation, you have a song at the end of Murder at Hollow Creek itself. Why did you keep this hit, or did you even keep this hidden?
Well, it's funny because I also have the main song in Karma as well as the big opening song of the film. So that was, for me, it was a very busy day on May 1st. I had 2 films and 2 songs coming out. It was a crazy, crazy day. All the positives though, it really, really was. I think for me, music came about because I found it very healing. I never started my music going, I'm going to do this because I want to be a famous pop star. Yes, that would be fantastic. Don't get me wrong. But I didn't start it just to achieve that. For me, writing and singing was very much a healing kind of journal writing process for me. I mean, my piano's behind me and my guitars are in front of me. Music is the huge part of my life in that way. So for me, I started writing just as a release, and then I think it was my guitar teacher, shout out to Mr. Lopez, who said, you should record these, just even if it's just for you to have them. And I found a great studio, Studio 637 in Hermosa Beach, and they really believed in me and they started kind of my music journey. And I've worked with some incredible writers and producers since then. But it's not so much hidden so much as it's really just a joy and passion of mine. And I love that even if I can touch one person's life and they can relate to my song in some way, then I feel like I've done my job. So for me, it's a genuine joy.
But of course, acting and producing is going to be forefront for yourself.
Very much so. Singing's the additional thing I can add into my music. But don't get me wrong, if someone wants to make me a pop star, I'm not going to say no.
So Isabella, tell what inspires you every day to keep on going in this industry?
I think it's my joy, if I'm being really honest with you. Like I said, I really love what I do, and I love talking about it, and I love doing it every day. And the fact that I get to wake up and do something I love, I mean, that's priceless. So many people aren't given the opportunity or aren't able to do that. And so, like I said, it doesn't go beyond me that I'm very fortunate in what I'm able to do. And so I make the most of being able to do it. I love it from the bottom of my heart. This industry is one of my favorite things, if not my favorite thing to do. And so being able to do that every day, I mean, that's a very special life. So for me, the thing that keeps me going is the joy of doing it.
Well, since we now know what inspires you, then I guess I will reverse that question. Is it what do you aspire to be?
The first thing that comes to my head isn't like a physical thing. I mean, it's not, oh, I want to have this much money, I want to have this amount of houses. It's actually for me, I aspire to be a better version of myself and keep up this level of joy and improve on it. I think if I love what I'm doing now, I just want to improve that and make it bigger and better so that I have more joy in more places and feeling even bigger levels of it and fill up my cup even more. Uh, so for me, the aspiration is an intangible thing. I want to stay positive. I want to be happy. I want to keep surrounding myself with fantastically kind and talented people. And I want to be the best version of myself, whatever that means. So for me, it's an intangible thing, but that's very much an aspiration. Um, oh, but of course, I'd like to throw in an Oscar in there too. So we'll throw in something tangible.
You you're down that path. You're
Yeah.
way ahead of a lot of people at your age right now. So that's a great thing.
Well, when I win one, we'll look back on this conversation and go, you manifested it with your aspirations.
That is true. That is true. And I could actually say, you know what? I didn't hold one conversation with Isabella. I hold multiple conversations.
I was going to say, there's more than one conversation there, and there will be more than this.
So tell us. I've taken a lot of your time, but tell us what's up the pipeline right now.
Lots of fabulous things. From a production standpoint, I've got a couple of movies lined up for this year that we're in pre-production development for at the moment. Oddly enough, they also have thriller in their genre. Sorry, you caught me. But then as an actor, I've got a couple of other movies as well that I'll be in, and they are lined up too. So some really fun things coming up this year. It's a really good year. 2024 is going well and will continue to go well. And then in the slightly longer run, we have a feature that we're working on that's based on a true story that is going to be a very big project. We have an Oscar-winning writer attached. So that project is kind of the big golden egg, as it were, that we are working on consistently as we also do these other things. So this year on film, that's what we've got. And then music, I'm planning to release another song or two, maybe more this year. We'll see where the year takes us. Yeah, I mean, I think I'm constantly doing new things. So far that's what's on my schedule, but who knows? There could be other things thrown my way. I know I'm going to a Once Upon a Time convention at the beginning of November as well in the UK. So that'll be a fun weekend.
Oh wow, I'm still astonished on how you pull all this off, and you do.
Thank you.
And one last thing, could you remind us when Karma is out and when Hollow Creek is out?
So Karma is already out. It came out on May 1st when we were at the premiere for Murder at Hollow Creek. So Karma Death at Latigo Springs is currently out on Xumo, spelled Xumo. It is available to find in the US. And then I'm not sure about Murder at Hollow Creek, if I'm being honest. I don't have exact details for that. But yes, Karma is out. So go watch it. Go listen to my song. Songs are available on Spotify and Apple and everywhere else you can find my music. And then that way you can listen to them in tandem with Karma and also listen to my other stuff too.
That's right. And I just want to remind, I believe Murder at Hollow Creek is just going through the film festival circuits right now, and that's
Yes,
what's actually happening.
correct.
So, Isabella, don't be a stranger.
Never. You too. Same goes to you.
So let's continue this conversation again with I'm pretty sure with more projects down the line. It's probably every other
Yeah.
month that we'll probably have a chance to talk until the off.
Exactly, exactly.
So, Isabella, thank you very much. Really appreciate it. Next time.
Thank you. Till next time.